Welcome to today's video, which is teaching your pigs how to sit. But let's start with why we should teach our pigs to sit. Training any animal to sit will make them a lot more manageable when you're giving them food or treats. It just makes them a lot more polite and calm. Plus, it helps with daily tasks like clipping a leash on, getting their harness on, or even just wiping their face. So to teach sit, I basically have a Cheerio in my hands with Chucky's snout almost in my palm. So I can pull him upward and almost tip him onto his bottom. And I would probably even use my left hand to block his butt from backing up or getting away. And then as he gets better, I start to hold the treat a little bit higher up and try to get him to do a little bit more on his own. But you have to really take this in small baby steps and don't rush him in the learning process. And then as he gets better and better, my hand gets further and further away. And I will be honest that I did start this in his playpen with his back up against the playpen so he couldn't back up or necessarily squirm away. All right. Think back to when you were learning math with your parents and they would get frustrated and yell at you. That's not what I'm looking for here. So while we get ready to practice, I hope you've got your patience pants on because this could be a wild ride. All right, so here I'm sitting outside. I've got a handful of Cheerios. And just an FYI, if you're using treats to train, I don't recommend feeding them full meals because you don't want them to get overweight. So a little bit smaller meals on days that you're using treats to train. But here, something you may notice is that I actually taught Chucky how to spin, and he's learned that if he spins, he gets a treat. So you'll see him do that. But I also use that trick to almost reset him and keep him focused. I've already practiced a little bit prior to this video, so you can see that he can do a lot on his own. But like I said, you can start indoors or up against a corner so he can't back away. I'll warn you that pigs are very eager for treats, and it's likely that they're probably going to bite your fingers in the process. I'll typically just calmly tap him on the snout with the palm of my hand or like the heel of my palm, and I only give him the treat if he's being calm and being gentle. I'm not looking for perfection. I want there to be wins. So I try to keep a good balance on when I give him the Cheerio. Sometimes I make him really wait and work for it, while other times I might just let him have a quick win and give it to him. Even if the sit's not perfect, it'll help keep him engaged. One of the biggest reasons I was training him to sit is because he can be an absolute psycho when I give him his food, which usually results in the bowl spilling everywhere. So my focus in this clip was really sit, but to also wait and manage that impulse of jumping for food. I'm really trying to make this a positive experience for him, so I'm not correcting for small nibbles on my hand. However, he did actually break skin on my finger during one of our earlier workouts, and I had to be a little bit more firm with my correction for him to understand that that behavior is not okay. I can usually tell that he's getting tired or frustrated based on how much he's biting my hands or how agitated he is waiting for the treat. You can either give him small wins and give him a treat, or you can just take a quick break to reset him and sit back down to restart your workout. I will say that with any young animal, training them in short workouts will get you much further. At this point, you're probably beginning to understand why you have to be patient during this process. Around this point, I started putting his Cheerios into his food bowl. The food bowl gets him super excited, so this is a way for me to almost desensitize him to seeing the bowl while also enforcing rules and manners every time he sees it. The incentive in this clip is the Cheerio in my hand. You are about to see how extreme the difference is when I introduce food. I purposely started with him alone in a quiet environment with just Cheerios because I knew he would be calm and it would be a lot easier for him to focus and absorb what I'm teaching him. But the second the food is in the picture, he typically loses his mind and sees the entire world in blurred vision. I started enforcing sit with food outdoors because I knew it was incredibly likely that it would be messy. All right, a couple of reminders before putting this into practice. And the one is that this is going to be a process, so you need to be patient. The second thing is consistency and how important that is here. He cannot get his food unless he sits. So, in the early phases, you're going to want to prepare for at least 5 minutes of enforcing sit before he even does it maybe once for his food. If I were to let Chucky jump and get crazy for food as a baby, he's going to do that for the next 10 to 15 years. And I have a clip to show you what that would potentially look like. Sit. Come on. Sit. You gotta do it. Sit. Come on. Sit. Good boy. Okay. Hold on. Oh, geez. Oh, gosh. All right, time to make this one step harder and start practicing indoors. For a feeding spot, I use a crate because I have dogs and it's a little bit safer, but also because it's helpful keeping a small, excited pig contained. Eventually, the feeding spot can be changed to a mat or a different area, but in the beginning, I use a dog crate. Plastic, tile, wood, this is all easy to clean, but just keep in mind that it's going to be slippery for them. So I usually have a towel for grip until he's a little bit calmer. If he kicks the towel out of place, I calmly and patiently fix it. I do think that the chaos and the loud noise of him slipping over and over makes it harder for him to sit. So I think it's worth it to take the time and fix it. I am now going to be adding Chucky to this equation, so I hope that you are prepared and ready. This is my warning that it is about to get loud. So if you have headphones in your ears, you might want to turn the volume down a little bit because it's about to get very loud in these early phases of training. This was pretty early on into his training, and I wanted you to get a taste of what it's like having an excited, hungry baby pig and why it's so important that we teach them good manners. I have 5 dogs and a cat that I will always prepare their food first just to make a point that he has to wait and that acting a fool is not going to help get his food any faster. Look, now. No. No. Okay, this was a few days later, and look at how calmly he is sitting and waiting for his food. He is calm, he is quiet, and this is all just for me teaching him the sit command. Animals really do need structure, and I think it just makes them a well rounded animal in every area. I have a little tip that I recommend. I would do 1 or 2 Cheerios as a warm up to get him to sit before you actually take the bowl of food out. It'll help him sit so much faster than just diving straight into the bowl of food.
All right, ready? Final test.
It went from 5 minutes the first day to 3 minutes the second day. And by the third day, he was sitting in less than a minute with the food bowl.
Good boy.
Before I show my final update for what today's mealtime looked like, I just wanted to quickly explain that this is going to be a work in progress, and I've been recording these videos almost real time throughout the week as I've been editing this video. So everything you've seen is within the last week. I'll probably post a video in the future showing what the end result is as a little bit more of an older, more mature pig. But for now, I figured this is at least enough to get you started. So let me show you this last clip really fast. And just for reference, I believe it was only about 22 seconds that it took for him to sit with 2 Cheerios and his food, which means that pretty soon in the next week or so, I'll be weaning him off of his Cheerios.
Sit. Sit. Good boy. Sit. Good boy.
Considering that it hasn't even been 7 days, I am really happy with where we're at. And I know it'll just get better. And it's so much better than where we started. The one thing I wanted to point out is in the early phase, anytime I went to grab another Cheerio or his bowl, I had to use one hand to hold him in there or he would be running to get out. Here, you can see that instead of me holding him back, I'm scratching his chest and praising him for staying inside. This is a little bit more of an encouraging way to keep him in there, especially now that he understands, where in the beginning, he would not have understood and he was just desperate to get out. I'm so proud of Chucky, and I can't wait to see what other things I can teach him. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment something that you'd like to learn about or something fun that you would like to see a video of. Thanks so much and see you soon.